start with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Vidyam Karavavahay Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Viddhishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Today is our 8th session on the summary of Upanishads. We have discussed almost 13 Upanishads in these 8 sessions. The last Upanishad we are dealing with is Mandukya Upanishad, which consists of 4 chapters. We have 3 chapters, and today we are going to start the last chapter. Let us start this chapter summary. Chapter 4 is called as Alat Shanti Prakarana. The first chapter was called Agama Prakaranam. Agama means Veda. And the first chapter had 12 Upanishadic mantras. And then there were Karikas, commentary on the 12 mantras. The second chapter was called Vaitatya Prakaranam. And this discussed mainly one word, Prapancha Upashama. The world which we experience is an appearance, and it resolves into Atma. That is the essence of the second chapter. The third chapter is Advaita Prakarana. The Atma which we are discussing in Mandukya Upanishad and all the Upanishads is Advaitam, non-dual. Whereas the world we experience is dual. Subject, object, and instruments are used to experience the world. Dvaitam is the world, Advaitam is Atma. So this third chapter discusses one word which is Advaitam, which occurs in the 7th mantra of the Upanishad. So the second chapter deals with one word, Prapancha Upashamam. 29 verses are there. Third chapter deals with Advaitam. One word in mantra number 7, another 38, 39 verses are there. What is the essence behind this third chapter? Aham means I, the observer, consciousness, awareness, principle, is Satyam. Satyam means it exists in 3 periods of time. The past, that Satyam observer was existing. Present, that observer consciousness is existing. In the future, the observer consciousness will be existing. Therefore, it is called as Satyam. The definition of Satyam is Trikale api tishtati iti Satyam. What exists in 3 periods of time is Satyam. What about not the world, the body, the mind, the sense organs. All this, according to the Veda, is anatma. It is mithya. Satyam and mithya. Satyam is the observer I. It is also called as Atma or Triyam or Brahman or Bhuma. There are many, many words for the Satya. In different contexts, it is called different names. Paramatma is another name for the Satya. Brahman is another name for the Satya. Turiyam is another name. Chandogya Upanishad calls it Bhuma. Sat is another name. Chit is another name. Ananda is another name. All these refers to one Vastu, which is awareness, witness. This witness, how do I differentiate with reference to the world, which is my experience? That is what is shown here in this chart. I am the observer. I am a consciousness principle. I exist by myself. When I exist by myself, I am called pure consciousness, unconditioned consciousness. It is called Paramarthika Satyam, higher reality. It is called absolute. Absolute means it is not relative. It doesn't come and go. So the focus of the third chapter is Advaita Atma. And what does the Upanishad want to teach us? It wants to tell me, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the sense organs, I am not the thoughts which I experience. I am someone different from all this anatma. This Satyam is also called as God. And where do I locate this? Where do I try to understand this Satyam? Do I have to travel someplace and then see the Satyam? Do I have to go to Swarga? Do I have to go to heaven? Do I have to go to Shiva Loka, Vishnu Loka? Upanishad tells me, Yo Veda Nihitam Guhaya Parame Yoman. Taittiriya Upanishad, second chapter, first section, first verse. Aham Satyam Jagat Mithya. This Taittiriya Upanishad verse is given here. Om Brahma Apnoti Paraptesham Yuktam Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. This is the definition of Atma. And then the Upanishad says, Yo Veda Nihitam Guhaya Parame Yoman. The one who realizes Atma within oneself, in his own intellect, in the cave of his heart, Soshnude Sarvan Kaman Saha Brahmana Vipaschideti. He is the one, this jnani will realize all his desires if he knows this Atma. And he will also become omniscient like Brahman. What a brave, what a courageous sentence or a verse in the Upanishads. Upanishad says, come and learn these Upanishads. Come to this Brahman. Come to this Atma. And then realize who you are. Such is the power of these Upanishads. So, Aham Satyam is highlighted in the Advaita Prakaranam, which is the third chapter. The second chapter is focusing on the objective universe. So third chapter is focusing on the consciousness awareness principle I. The second chapter is telling me Jagan Mithya. Third chapter tells me Brahma Satya. Second chapter tells me Jagan Mithya. Because Prapancha Upashama. Prapancha is negated. The objective world which we experience is negated. It is a lower order of reality. It is not non-existent, but it is an appearance which is experienceable. Vaitatyam, it is false. Mithya, it is observed in time, space, realm. It is subject to arrival, departure. When compared to I, the Satyam, which is always there. Yesterday I was there, today I am there, tomorrow I will be there. Which is that I which is always there? Awareness, consciousness. Which is what is changing, which is appearing, disappearing. In the sleep state, this world is not there, but I am there. In the dream state, this world which I am experiencing in the Jagrata Avastha is not there, but I am there, the consciousness. So the second chapter, Vaitratya Prakaranam, is a very important chapter, which is what we are studying on Sundays. Every Sunday we are studying, at the moment we are studying the second chapter on Sundays. When you go through the chapter, you will understand 38 verses are there in which Gaudapadacharya convinces me that the world which is experienced, world experience means what? Including the body, including my mind. That is Jagat. From this third chapter, we can draw two main corollaries. The first corollary is we don't count Mithya along with Satyam. Satyam alone exists. I, the consciousness, which is called as Atma, which is the same as Brahman, alone exists. This is the final, ultimate truth of the Veda. This Satyam is not two, it is Ekam, one. And what about the world which is Mithya? We don't count the world as number two along with Satyam. We don't say Satyam exists and Mithya exists. We say Satyam alone exists. Mithya world is an appearance. It does not have an independent existence. Apart from this, I, the consciousness. See how deep is this Upanishad. The moment you understand this, immediately you will start understanding your own nature. It is the words of the Upanishad which me deep inside myself. For example, dream does not exist separate from the waker. Waker does not exist separate from Atma. Drishya Prapancha, which is observed in verse, can't be counted as a second thing along with I, the observer. Very, very simple point in Vedanta. Use the dream example. Dreamer and waker are not two different things, but it is the same waker appearing as the dreamer. It is the same Atma which alone is the consciousness, observer, experiencer, Brahman, Atma. It is God. What do you call it? It is Ekam. I, the observer, am the ultimate reality. Apart from this observer, is there anything else in the universe? Nothing. Upanishad is very clear. See, there is a lot of authority of the Upanishads when it says there is nothing else. Consciousness is the only thing. And that is Advaitam. It is not Dvaitam, but it is Advaitam. Advaita means non-dual. Without a second consciousness, without a second object in the Satyam Atma, this Atma exists. That is the nature of Atma. Don't question why and how. That is its nature. Why is fire hot? That is its nature. Why sun brilliant? It shines and illumines the entire Jagat. That is its nature. What about the nature of Atma? It never dies. It is never born. I will give you 3, 4 definitions of Atma at the end of the talk today. You will understand just by those 3 definitions of Atma, you will realize what is Atma. That is the power of the word. It can reveal something which your mind can never understand. The second corollary is this teaching of Advaita Atma has got a prayojana. It has got a benefit. What is the benefit of knowing this Atma? Upanishad says, knowing this Atma, I get moksha. Moksha means liberation from identification with this body as I. Once again, I'll repeat. What is moksha? What is freedom? It is understanding that I am not the body. I don't identify the body as I. I remove the mistake which I have been committing till today. It is the mistake is called as adhyasa. It is an error in the intellect. So what do I understand? I am not the body. I am the awareness consciousness. If my intellect is able to understand this simple thing, you get the freedom to live in this body. At the same time, go through the motion of the prarabdha karma of the body. And let's say I am always jivan muktaha. Body is unreal. It is less real. It cannot pollute. It cannot affect the ultimate reality, which is the. For example, you have a TV screen at home. So many movies I see this CNN, I see the news, I see so many things, so many pictures in it. I see fire in some movies. I see cyclones. I see tsunamis. All this is happening in the movie. But suppose I turn off the TV screen is unaffected. The Acharyas tell us, my Swarupam, which is Atma, the consciousness, is exactly like the TV screen. I am experiencing the body. I'm experiencing so many things, sukham, dukham, all this is happening in my days. In every day, everybody's day is different. I go through the motion. I cannot stop the motion. The movie cannot be stopped because that is Ishvara Srishti. I can only try to change the Jiva Srishti, which is my own thoughts, my own evaluation of the body and the world. When I change the orientation of the intellect and I tell the intellect, I am not the body, I am the consciousness. I am the Sakshi. I am never born. I will never die. I, the consciousness, has no death. This is a clear fact given in the Veda. Knowing this fact and knowing this before the death of the body is called as Jivan Mukti. The dream events cannot affect the baker. The baker's events cannot affect the Atma, which is called as Turiyam. So when I take I as the physical body, the world will affect me. The temperature will affect the body. It is too hot, too cold. I need an AC. I don't need an AC. It's with reference to the body. I am very happy today. I understand the Upanishads very clearly. Last week it was very tough for me, but today it's very clear. That is the intellect. I had a lot of emotional problems today. It is the mind, not the awareness. The seer, drik, observer, turiyam is different than the world. The world cannot affect turiyam. Sthula, sukshma, karana, vyatiriktaha, atma. Mantra number 7 of Upanishad, it says, na anta prajnam, na bahish prajnam, no bhaya prajnam. We have seen that mantra. Very, very important mantra in the entire literature of the Upanishads. Bhagavad Gita also has the same message. Second chapter, 24th verse, it says that self cannot be cut, it cannot be burnt, it cannot be moistened. Accheryoyam, adhyayoyam, aklesham dosha, shoshacha. Nityaha. What is Atma? Nityaha, eternal, sarvagataha, all pervading. Sthanuhu, it is immovable. Body moves from America to India to Singapore to Japan to Korea and so on. Atma is all pervading. It is acharaha. It is sthanuhu. Atanaha. It is the most ancient thing in this entire universe. Because time doesn't affect Atma. Discovery of this asangatva Atma, which is relationless, I understand this fact about myself, which is called as Atma Jnana. What I'm teaching you is very, very simple. Anybody who is even new to the Upanishads should just understand what we are going through in this slides. Very easy. You just go through these slides, go through this talk, you will know, but you must remain focused on the talk. Go through the talk as if it is being you one by one, one by one. So I need not be concerned about the events in this universe, maybe good events, maybe bad events, maybe mixed events. I will care for the world, but I will not be affected by the world. There are certain choiceless situations which are given to me. My siblings are given to me. My children are given to me. My parents are given to me. The situation around my society is given to me. I didn't choose it. There is no choice. So there are many events in my life which is choiceless. And a person who does not understand the Atma, he will be like a seesaw. He'll be affected by the body, mind, by the events in his life. A jnani who knows this nature of the Atma will be asangha. He will never know, he will never be affected by the events in the world. This knowledge about the Atma gives me the freedom which is called as Jivan Mukti. So light up this candle inside your own intellect, gain this Atma Jnana, and be free. Don't keep on complaining about the darkness which is outside in the world. There are events which are beyond control of the individual body and mind. It is called as prarabdha karma. Jiva bhava is sorrowful. It is samsara. Sakshi bhava, Brahma bhava helps me to avoid overwhelming emotional reactions, which is called as Jivan. There are emotions. In Ajnan, Jnani also has emotions. He also has Sukham and Dukkham. But the Jnani, the I in the body of the Jnani, the I, the awareness, the reflected consciousness is never affected by the turmoil of the body and the mind. The essence of the teaching is of chapter 1, 2, and 3, which I have discussed so far. In one sentence, it is called Aham Satyam Jagan Mithya. With the 3 chapters, Upanishadic teaching is over. So if you have been following with me for the last 30 minutes, I've given you the complete summary of 3 chapters. Now comes the 4th chapter. The 4th chapter is written by Gaudapadacharya because Gaudapadacharya knows that one is living in the society. There will be always other people who will come and tell him, you are fool, you don't know what you are thinking of something, but it is not true. There will be opponents to your thought process, your intellect will be constantly bombarded with other people's thoughts. During Gaudapada's time, there were different schools of thought. Those schools of thought did not understand the depth of Advaita. And they were against Advaita. Like today, for example, science will be against Advaita. Even today, there are many schools which are talking about the world. How do I face the other schools? You will learn this only from the 4th chapter. Very beautiful chapter. There are 5 topics which we will go one by one. 100 verses are given in this chapter, all with one goal. Is the goal? The goal is to say, Aham Satyam Nitya Jivo Brahmaivana Paraha. This Jiva, which I am thinking in this body, is me, is none other than this universal consciousness, which is in the entire universe. So now you got what we are trying to do in the 4th chapter. We are trying to reinforce the Advaitam, which was declared in the 3rd chapter. which is declared in the mantra number 7, we are trying to defend the Advaitam with reference to other schools of thought. Verse number 1 to 10 is an introduction. We will go topic by topic. By the end of the topic, by the end of the talk today, you will understand what is this 100 verses contain. This 11 to 27 is the negation of dualistic philosophy, which is Dvaita. There's another school of thought is called Visishta Advaita. That is also dealt with in the verses 11 to 27. 28 to 54 is a reinforcement of our own teaching, which is Vedantic Advaita principle. From 55 to 90, a lot of verses are there. We talk about the spiritual disciplines which are required to gain this knowledge. Our mind is not a Samskrita mind. It is not a refined mind. When we get into spirituality, it is Prakruta mind. It is a mind given to us by nature. I have to refine that mind, make it a fine mind which can understand that I am the substratum for the whole universe. So if your mind is very gross, it will not understand Advaita. Keep on listening to the scriptures. That is the only way to refine your mind. Verse number 91 to 100 is the conclusion part. The first section, the first topic is introduction. Gaudapadacharya prostrates to the Adi Guru Narayana, the first Guru in the universe. He says, that Guru I prostrate. Then he defines Asparsha Yoga, teaching where I understand that I am the Turiyan, I am not affected by the world. Asparsham. Sparsham means touch. Sparsha, Rupa, Rasagandha. Sparsham means touch. Touch means you are affected by anything which happens in the world. Asparsham is a name given to Atma. It is a name given to the teaching. That is why it is called Asparsha Yoga. Connection with that Atma, which is untouched by the world. Because Atma is Asangaha. It is Advaitaha. Therefore, it is untouched. Then, the third point in this first section is Avivadaha Darshanam. This Advaita Darshanam is beyond debate because it is Paramarthika Satya. Nothing in the world will affect it. So the Advaita scholars, they say that you cannot debate our matham. You cannot come and debate us because you are talking about anatma, which is drishyam. I am talking about atma, which is the subject. The subject and the object can never be debated. Subject is always the subject. Object is always the object. So in our system, objects are independently not there. Subject alone is there. Advaita does not propound another theory of creation. It only says Ajativada. What is the meaning of ajati? Jati means born. Ajati means unborn. Very, very beautiful chapter, but it is very, very, you have to study it extremely carefully. Like, for example, this verse, number 32 of the second chapter. Na nirodo, na chotpati, na buddho, baddho, na cha sadakaha, na mumukshu, na vai mukta, ityesha paramathatha. This is almost like the Nirvana Shatkam mantra. There is neither dissolution, there is neither birth, there is nobody in bondage, there is nobody who has got the wisdom. Nobody is a jnani, nobody is a jnani. Nobody is striving for liberation. That alone is the supreme truth. Why? Because that truth is paramarthikam, whereas waking is vyavahari. Same thing like dream. As soon as you have got up into the waking state, what will you say? There is no dreamer. There is no father who was suffering in the dream. There is no daughter who was also suffering. All that is nothing. It is only a appearance. Similarly, for a jnani who has woken up to the supreme truth of Atma Jnana, for him alone, the Turiam knowledge is a fact. From Turiam standpoint, he will say the entire waking state and its problems and its confusions are all mithya. Mithya means it appears, but it is not real. What is creation according to Jnani? It is ignorance, avidya, and it is confusion. For a Jnani, what is reality? Atma. See how deep is the introduction itself, the first topic in the first 10 verses of the fourth chapter. I'm giving you only the gist. But with the gist itself, you can see how deep is this chapter. How deep is Mandukya Upanishad? Philosophically, there is nothing comparable to Mandukya Upanishad in this entire systems of philosophy. All systems you compare, Mandukya stands outstanding. It is something totally different. The second topic is 11 to 27. In this second topic, three main systems are negated. In the olden days, there was a school of thought which is called as Samkhya. We will study the Samkhya in detail when we study the fourth chapter in the Sunday classes. Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaiseshika, Bauddha, Purva Mimamsa. Who have studied Tato Bodha, you will know all these are all different schools of thought. Sankhya system says Prakriti means matter, and matter is the cause of creation. Now I'm giving you a small gist of these philosophers in this section. That is what is discussed. In Taittiriya Upanishad, there is this mantra. Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivati yat prayanti abhishanti tad vijnanasva tad brahmeti saptapo tapyata satapyat tatva. Very, very important mantra of the entire Taittiriya Upanishad. Very, very important one. What does it say? It says there is something in this world which is called as Brahman, from which the beings are born, in which the beings are existing, and into which they resolve when they depart from this world. What a brave, what a statement of fact. This is a mantra for meditation. Very, very important mantra for meditation. You can meditate on this 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. It settles in you. When it settles, what will happen? You will realize Brahman is Karanam, Prakriti is not Karanam. Prakriti means the Panchabhutas are not the cause, ultimate cause. See, there are two types of causes. One is called as immediate cause. Then there is something called as ultimate cause. The immediate cause for the world is Panchabhutas. Panchabhutas means 5 elements, which is called as Prakriti, nature. But can nature exist by itself? That is the question which Veda asks. Panchabhutas are inert. Who will know that they exist? The knower of the Panchabhutas is consciousness. That consciousness can exist by itself, which is what I am when I go to sleep. I am that pure consciousness. But in the waking state, I see my body, I see the world, Panchabhutas. Panchabhutas have got a appearance and disappearance, manifestation and unmanifestation. That is their nature. My nature is I'm always evident, self-conscious, always evident. If I'm always evident, then I can say this waking world is just like it's made up of panchabhutas. It appears, it disappears. So anubhava virodha means there is no disharmony in my experiential nature. Prakriti as beginningless cause is anubhava virodha. If Prakriti is the cause, it says, Mandukya Upanishad says that in chapter 4, it is against my experience. But what is not Anubhava Virodha? Atma. If I say Atma is the cause of this creation, then it is not Anubhava Virodha. When I say Prakriti is the cause, it is Anubhava Virodha. This is called as negation of Samkhya. Samkhya says nature is the cause of this world. Nature is the cause of this body, gross body. We all accept that. But gross body is not the truth. Tree is born out of a seed. Seed is born out of tree. Seed and tree has got a beginning. They are Vyavaharika Satyam. Child is born out of a parent. Have a beginning. This is Vyavaharika Satyam. It is a relative reality. Prakriti is beginningless, cause is yukti virodha. It is against logic. Any cause is subject to change. Modifications. Asti, jayate, vardate, viparinamate, apakshyate, vinashyati. All these are terms used in Tattva Bodha. Existence, birth, growth, viparinamate, modifications, apakshyate means it is decay, and finally vinashyati, destruction. This is the nature of our body. It is the nature of the entire universe. It is subject to change, and it has a beginning, it has an end. What has a beginning, what has an end is anatma, it is anityam, it is drishyam, it is not satyam. Therefore, Dvaita Darshanam is Shruti Virodaha. That is what all the Mahavakyas are teaching us. What is the Mahavakyas teaching us? Brahman is Satyam, Jagan is Mithya. Brahman is the consciousness. It is I, which is Brahman, I Atma. This I is very, very important factor in the entire discussions in Vedanta. What is that I you're referring to? If you're referring to the I as the body, then you are ajnani. So yukti virodaha Dvaita darshanam is based on karma phalam. The entire Dvaita, body, mind, world is all based on punya papam karana sharira. So the first karma, the first shariram, nobody can explain. Did the karma come first because of which the shariram was born? Or the shariram was first because then only karma came? If you ask what is the first shariram which came into the universe, no answer. Because shariram and action, karma, punya pava karma, they have mutual dependent effect. What does not have a beginning and does not have an end, anirmoksha prasanga dosha. Moksha is impossible if you believe that something has a beginning, something has an end, then moksha will never be there. That is what is called in technical language. It is called as anirmoksha sanga dosha. That means what? In your matam, in your school of thought, if you say Prakriti is the cause of this universe, you can never get moksha. What about Bauddha Darshanam? Bauddha Darshanam means the school of thought of Buddhism, which was there during Gaudapadacharya's time, not today. It is called as Yogachara Buddhism, and Yogachara Buddhism basically tells us that they are very much in, very much, they are very much, their theory is very much similar to Vedanta. They also say world is mithya. They also say there is consciousness, which is satya. We also say world is mithya. We also say consciousness is satya. But the only defect in the Bauddha Matham is they say this consciousness is not eternal. It is not nityam. It is anityam, shanikam. Their vada is called as shanika vijnana vada. They also say Jagat is nitya. But the problem is their observer consciousness is shanikam. The mistake they are making is they take consciousness is momentary. It is a flow. The consciousness flow is satyam for them, but consciousness is not satyam. There is no eternal consciousness in their matam. The flow of momentary consciousness is satyam. Consciousness exists for a moment, second only, and then it dies. Again, it exists for a second, again it dies. Gaudapadacharya is talking about the awareness of the flow. We also know that there is something which is momentary. The mistake made by the Bauddha Matham is they think that the buddhi, the thoughts which are coming and remaining for a fleeting second. And in that, there is a reflection of the consciousness. We have mistook the thought as Satya. And they say it is Shanikam. Every thought is Shanikam only. It is there for a few seconds. But Gaudaparacharya says there is a witness to the thought which appears and disappears. That witness is Nityaha. It is eternal. It is Sakshi Chaitanyam, which alone is Satya. So the correct understanding, what is the correct understanding as far as Advaitam is concerned? It is not Shanika Vijnanam, it is Nitya Vijnanam. Next comes the third topic from verse number 28 to 54. This is a topic which revises the teaching given in the Mandukya Upanishad, chapter 1. What is the teaching? Aham Turiyam Satyam. I am as described in the seventh mantra. Always remember, I is the seventh mantra. I am Satyam Jagan Mithya. What is the Jagat which we are now defining in the seventh mantra and in the first six mantras of the Upanishad? The Jagat given as Avastatrayam, three states of experiences, is called as Jagat. Waking, dream, sleep. Waking consists of the individual waker, the Vishwa, and Prapancha, which is gross universe. The dreamer, called Taijasa, experiences a sukshma, a subtle world of dream. It is the second pada. The third pada is the sleep state, where the individual is called as prajna and the world is the causal ignorance, which is mula avidya. It is called as karana prapancha. Who am I? Listen to this very carefully. I am not the Vishwa, the waker. I am not the dreamer, the Taijasa. I'm using the Mandukya language. I am not the sleeper, Prajna. I am Vilakshanaha, something other than the waker, dreamer, sleeper, which is the revelation of Turiya, which is the revelation of Nitya Chaitanya. It is awareness which is eternal. No beginning, no end. World has a beginning and end, but I don't have a beginning and end. If you are able to attach to this I, you have got moksha. Freedom from identification as a waker, dreamer, sleeper. That is called as moksha. And this Chaitanyam alone is Satyam. Satyam again, definition, Trikale api tishtati satyaha. What exists in the past, what exists in now, and what exists in the future is this awareness. What about the world? World is unreal only from the Turiyam standpoint. With reference to the body, we can never say the world is unreal. Try to understand this point, very important. As a dreamer, in dream, you can never say the dream world is unreal. Because for the dreamer, it is waking. In the waking state, for a waker, it is in the waking state. For him, the waking world is Maha. It is not unreal. That is what I am explaining in this chart. With reference to dream body, it is real. With reference to waker's body, dream is unreal. First level of teaching. Second level of teaching, waker. With reference to the shariram, the physical body, waking is real. With reference to the Atma, which is Chaitanyam, the waking state is unreal. So this is what is explained in the fourth chapter as a revision of what we learned in the first chapter. This summary of the fourth chapter is brilliant. It covers the entire philosophy of Vedanta. Then the Upanishad comes to the topic of Alat Shanti. If you remember what I said in the beginning, this chapter is called Alat Shanti Prakarana. The meaning of Alat Shanti is Alat Shanti means a firebrand. What is a firebrand? In the olden days, people used to walk in the forest with a stick, and at top of the stick, they had some cloth which was dipped in oil, and they used to burn that oil and walk and see. That is one example. The second example is a very simple example which everybody will understand is agarbatti. Agarbatti is what incense stick which you burn at home. It is also called as alat. Now, Gaudapadacharya uses this Alat Shanti, this agarbatti, to explain to us the nature of the whole world and Atma. See how brilliant he is. The tip of the agarbatti or the firebrand or the incense stick is the karanam. For what? For all the patterns which are formed when you rotate the agarbatti. Suppose you are in a dark room. You have lighted only one agarbatti, one stick. And then you keep rotating and you tell your son or daughter, see, I can give you so many patterns. Triangular, rectangular, circular, horizontal, so many elliptical, all those lines, all those patterns. The light agarbatti is only one. It is non-dual. It is satya. It is swayam prakasha. It is self-effulgent. What about the patterns? The patterns are anekam. Anekam means many, many varieties are there. But the patterns don't have a reality of their own. They depend on the agarbatti, that one small dot which is lighted. The patterns are mithya. That one dot light which is of the agarbatti is satya. Light depends on the firebrand. That means the pattern's light depends on the firebrand. Now let us use this example and come to Turiya. When it comes to Turiyam, we say there is a light of consciousness. Body, there is a light of consciousness. Your body has got one light of consciousness. My body has one light of consciousness, which is a karanam, which is ekam, which is satyam, which is swayam prakasham, and it is eternal. Eternal means that light always exists in the world. Now, what about the karyam? If this is the karanam, see the case of example of the agarbatti, the light of the agarbatti is the karanam, the patterns were karyam, effect. In the case of consciousness, the turyam is the karana, cause. What about all the beings in the universe? They are all effect. They are all patterns of consciousness. So, anekam, bodies are many, but light in them consciousness is only one. The bodies cannot exist without the light. That is why it is called as dependent, it is called as karya, and it is called as mithya. See, this satyam and mithya, you should be very clear. Satyam means it is the adhisthana. Mithya means it is a superimposition. It is temporary incidental superimposition. So Atma is Satyam, Anatma is Mithya, it is Adhyasaha. Through this example, we prove that Jagat is Mithya. Okay? It is revision of what we learned in the first chapter, and conclusion is what? Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. Next, the fourth topic is the disciplines. To discover this Turiyam as my own nature, which is beyond time and beyond space. How to discover this? It is beyond time, kala. Body, mind, and world is dependent on time. Turiyam comes down to the Vishwa, Taijasa levels and experiences the Desha, Kala, Shriram, and Jagat. See, Turiyam is absolute state. What Upanishad says that appears as this body. And it experiences the different worlds as per the prarabdha karma of the body. As long as I don't know this Turiyam, I will have problems which are caused by Desha, Kala. What are the main problems caused by old age, disease, death, insecurity? But if I know I am not this body, but I am Turiyam, and if I am firm in the knowledge, then security will come to me, and this body's conditions will not affect my freedom, which is my intrinsic nature. This is the primary sadhana, which is called as jnana sadhana. That is why I always have to do Shravanam of Upanishads. Where do I get this jnana sadhana? Only in Upanishads. Keep on studying the Upanishads one by one. Study the Bhashyam of the Upanishads. If you are a sincere seeker, you can get Bhashyams from many sources. In my website, there are some notes. You can refer to it. Some classes are there. You can refer to the classes and learn. Secondary sadhana. What is the secondary, not a primary? Primary sadhana is still Shravanam, then Mananam, Vidithyas. Secondary sadhana is Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, Gaudapadacharya, in the 90th verse, he explains it in one verse. What he says is, if you know what are the things to be avoided, you should know four things. What are the four things? Things to be avoided, number one. Thing to be realized, number two. Number three, things to be attained or accepted. Number four, thoughts to be rendered ineffective. Whenever I have a thought, drop it. When you drop the thought, what happens? You are with your soul. So by doing this, what Gaudapadacharya tries to hint is the Brahman which exists in all the other philosophers exists only as imaginations in his mind. Whereas the Brahman which we are talking in Advaitam is a reality. That is one of the points. What he says here is all the past regrets and the future anxieties The present frustrations or agitations, these are all only mithya thoughts. They persecute us in time. So dropping identification with the mind as me is a sadhana. It is a secondary sadhana. In short, Shravanam Mananam Nidhyasanam is the primary sadhana. Dropping identification with the mind as me is the secondary sadhana. Very beautiful, very beautiful way Gaudapadacharya explains this. Last topic in the fourth chapter is from verse number 91 to 100. What do you seek in life? He says we always seek only one thing, which is Purnatva. I want to be fulfilled. I want to be fulfilled not for a few seconds, but I want to be fulfilled forever. Purnaha, Purna, uh, 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 Purnaha is my nature. I forget. Remembering Purnatvam as my nature is Jivan Mukti. It is security. Then the second thing which we seek is Shanti. Everybody in life wants peace of mind because mind by nature is turbulent, rajasic, or tamasic. All of us, we want sattvic mind. Then the last one is Ananda. Ananda means eternal happiness. According to Gaudapada Acharya, you can test this out. It is the truth. I mean, you can meditate on this. You will find that these are the only three things. If you are a billionaire, also you will be only seeking three things, which is Purnatvam, Shanti, and Anand. You can talk to anybody in the world. I mean, this is a guarantee of the Upanishads, not my guarantee. It is the Upanishad which is telling us. And what is Upanishad telling us? It is saying that it is not outside. This Shanti and Purnatvam and Ananda is not outside you. It is not a nature of the world. It is not in the Anatma, but it is my Swarupam, which is Turiya. And it is free. Free means what? It is never affected by the events in the world. That is the brilliance of this section. I'm sure all of you must be very eager to learn this chapter, which is so beautiful. Chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. Such a lot of depth is there in these discussions. The last verse of the Upanishad, Gaudapadacharya offers namaskara to Turiya Atma. Nowhere else in the literature of Upanishads you will find a namaskara to the Atma. To your own Atma, you are prostrating, you are saying namaste. It's my own higher nature. If you can do this in meditation, you are a super jnani. But you should have nothing except you and that Atma. Namaskara is not a physical exercise, but it is in the form of jnanam, knowledge. It is a thought. Aham turiyam asmi jagan mithya. If you can understand Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaiva Navaraha. You have understood the entire Mandukya Upanishad. This is the end of the fourth chapter of Mandukya Upanishad, a brilliant chapter along with the other three chapters. With this, I conclude Mandukya revision today. Before we close today's session, I wanted to just give you a little bit of some topics which are useful just as a summary. Whenever we try to understand Vedanta, there are some topics which we should always keep in mind, and we should focus on those topics. Focusing on those topics, you find that your understanding is better. This I just wrote in the last half an hour, the last before the class started. I just wrote about 10 minutes, 15 minutes before, and that is what is this topic. Important topics in Vedanta. I thought it could be useful to the seekers who have gone through these 8 sessions of understanding what is being taught in the Upanishads. The first topic I thought you should know is Paramarthika Satyam, Vyavaharika Satyam, and Pratibhasika Satyam. Paramarthika Satyam is my nature. Is I the Atma, pure consciousness? It is of a higher order of reality that is called as Paramarthika Satyam. It is called as Atma, it is called as Brahman, it is as Turiyam, and it is called as Uttama Purusha in Gita. All that is Paramarthika. Vyavaharika Satyam means the waker's world. Generally, it refers to waker's world, but it could also refer to the dream world and sleep world. The dream world is called as Pratibhasika Satyam. Separately, if you want to know what is a dream world, it is a projected world. Vyavaharika means it's a transactional world. So now what are the three words we have realized? We have found dream world, Pratibhasika. Vyavaharika is transactional waker's world. Sleep world is there is no transactions. Avyavahar. It is avyavaharya. There is no transaction. It is a passive world. It is a world of ignorance. What is Paramarthika Satyam? It is I the consciousness, I the awareness, which is eternal. The Vyavaharika Satyam is the appearing and disappearing world. And Pratibhasika is also appearing, disappearing. That is one concept. The second concept I should understand in Vedanta is what is Satyam, what is Mithya, and what is Asat. Whenever we say Satyam means always I, the consciousness. Mithya means it appears, something which appears and disappears. Like the dream world appears and disappears. Rope snake appears and disappears. The shell on silver appears and disappears. Mirage water appears and disappears. They are all examples of Mithya. What about Asat? Asat means it is non-existent. One is Sat, another is Asat. Asat is one left extreme, the right extreme is Asat, and in between is this Mithya, which is appearing, disappearing. This is only in Advaita Vedanta, this difference are noted. Satyam is called as Adhishtanam, the substratum, eternal, and Mithya is called as Adhyasa. Waking, dream, sleep is Mithya, Adhyasa. What is Satyam? Turiya. Clear? Okay. comes the third topic, Adhyaropa and Apavada. Adhyaropa means waker, dreamer, sleeper. I superimpose on I the Turiya, I the consciousness awareness. And then what do I do? Apavada. Na anta prajnam, na bahish prajnam, no bhaya prajnam. I tell myself, I am not a waker, I am not a dreamer, I am not a sleeper. First, what did I say? The waker, dreamer, sleeper are superimposed on I, the consciousness. The second stage of the teaching is apavada, where you say, I am not the waker, dreamer, sleeper. That is negation, which brings us to the fourth topic, neti, neti. I am not this, I am not this. You can say Nirvana Shatkam, all what you learn in Nirvana Shatkam is not the buddhi, I'm not the buddhi, I'm not the sense organs, I'm not the body, I'm not the sorrow, I'm not the happiness. Who am I? I am Turiyam, eternal. Then the next topic is Moksha. If I know this Turiyam, not as a goal to be reached, but it is my nature, my own Swarupa, then I get Moksha. This moksha means I must know the difference between Dvaitam and Advaita, which brings to the sixth topic. Dvaitam is Vakar, Dreamer, Sleeper. Advaitam is Turiya. Can you see the connection between all these five, six topics so far? So my intellect must understand and it must get soaked in this thought of Advaita. Where do I get to know this Advaita Atma is Satyam? In the Mahavakyas. What are the four Mahavakyas? Prajnanam Brahma, Aham Brahma Asmi, Tattvamasi, I am Atma Brahma. How do I get how do I get the knowledge of these four Mahavakyas? How do I get it? By Shravanam, Manana, Nididhyas. This is the process of learning the Atma Tattva. Eighth topic. Ninth topic is when I am learning this Atma Tattvam, my Guru tells me there's two types of superimpositions. One is Jnana Adhyasa, another is Artha Adhyasa. Artha Adhyasa means superimposition of the world of objects, which will be coming only when I operate my sense organs, Indriya. It is Indriya Vishaya. What about Jnana Adhyasa? Jnana Adhyasa is whenever I wake up in the morning, my mind is in operation. Whatever the mind perceives, whatever the mind remembers, whatever my mind thinks, emotions, thoughts, all this is Jnana Adhyasa. My whole sorrow depends on this Artha Adhyasa and Jnana Adhyasa. How do I get rid of these two things? Three methods are given. Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, Jnana Yoga. For a beginner, karma is given. Do all the actions as a service to the Lord. Just surrender the actions. I'm doing it for the Lord. Then whatever result, I take it as prasada. Ishvara Arpana Buddhi and Prasada Buddhi together is Karma Yoga. Upasana Yoga is to refine my mind. My mind is very, very prakritam. I want to make it samskritam. And Jnana Yoga gives me the ultimate knowledge about Atma. Swarupa Sukham is my nature. But what do I experience in the world? It is Anatma Sukham. Anatma Sukham is Prarabdha based. I have to convert this Anatma Sukham into Swarupa Sukham. The only instrument available to me is my mind. Prakrita mind is a Rajasic and Tamasic mind. I have to convert it into Samskrita mind, which is Sattvic mind. Bandha and Moksha are two terms in the Veda. Moksha, Bandha means sorrow, identification with the body, mind, and intellect, and the world. Moksha means Atyanta Dukkha Nivritti. Atyantika means absolute negation of all sorrows is moksha. And Atyantika Sukha Prapti. Sukha Prapti means I get the happiness which is my own intrinsic nature. When do I get this moksha? When I am on top of Maya, when I'm able to understand the effect of Maya Shakti in me. And uh, how Maya has an effect in me, the Turiyam. As an Ajnani, what happens is Maya is covering my nature, which is called as Avaranam. Because of this Avaranam, I project myself as I am the body, which is Vikshepa. I am the mind, which is Vikshepa. To get rid of this Maya Shakti, which is affecting me day in and day out, I study the Upanishads. There are two categories of Upanishads. One is Anubhava based, Jivatma based. Mandukya Upanishad, three avasthas. Taittiriya Upanishad, Panchakoshas. Keno Upanishad talks about my eyes, what is behind my eyes, what is behind my ears. Prashna Upanishad, I learn about the dream state, waking state again in Prashna Upanishad. Kaivalya Upanishad, three states again. Amit Bindu Upanishad talks about my mind. These are all my own Anubhava based. There are other Upanishads which are Brahman based, which is telling me about the ultimate cause of this universe. Mundaka Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, Ishavasya Upanishad, Svetashvara Upanishad, Muktika Upanishad, Aitareya Upanishad. They all focus on God. They all focus on the external world. Very beautiful. Each of these Upanishad bhashyams are amazing. So when I study the Upanishads, ultimately I get the definition of Atma. In my own mind, I discover Atma as Apnoti iti Atma. Atma pervades everything in the universe, lends existence to the universe. It is the Sat Adhishtanam. First definition of Atma. The second definition of Atma is Adate iti Atma. It draws every anatma to itself. Atma resolves the duality. Second definition. Ati iti Atma. Atma, through the body, mind, sense organ, consumes, experiences everything. Atma in everybody is only one, and it is consuming all the experiences, and it remains without experiences also. The last definition is Atati. eternally existent. It is the Sat principle. It is there during the Srishti. It is there during Sthiti. It is there during Laya. Unlike the Anatma, which appears and disappears. This is a very, very short note which I just prepared just about half an hour before today's talk. I thought let me just give you some summary of what we have studied in these eight talks on Upanishads. The last slide I want to show you is this slide. Just to tell you that whatever we are studying today is a minuscule of what was existing before and how many things we have lost. Vedas consist of 1 lakh verses. Krishna Dvaipayana, Vedavyasa, he is the one who found the Vedas and he classified the Vedas into Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharvana Veda. And according to this chart, it says there were 21 schools of Rig Veda. There were 101 schools of Yajur Veda originally, 1,000 schools of Sama Veda, 9 schools of Atharvana Veda. The Veda consists of Brahmana portions, Samhita portions, Upanishad portions, and Aranyaka portions. What is available in the Upanishad is 108 Upanishads. What is lost is 1023 Upanishads. Similarly, in the Samhita portion, Brahmana portion, and Aranyaka portion, a majority of the literature of the Veda is not found today, but with what is found in the 108 Upanishads, we have learned today 13 Upanishads. It is a small portion. In Samaveda, Atharvana Veda, what existed, what is lost is given in this chart. But what I want to say is Veda is supreme. Veda, which existed, which is dealing with apaurushaya vishaya. It talks about Atma, which is the substratum of the whole universe, which we will never know. It is not known by a human intellect. There is some supreme power. That supreme power is giving us this knowledge of this Atma. And my prostrations to this Atma, which gives me the intrinsic nature of my own existence. With this, I conclude today's talk on, and also the eighth talk on the summary of all Upanishads, 13 Upanishads, which we have covered. I have really enjoyed these talks, and I'm sure listeners would have benefited from these sessions. For those who are interested, you can join the Saturday sessions, which will be Bhashyam sessions from now on of Shankaracharya. Next week, we are going to start Prashno Upanishad, Shankara Bhashyam. On Sundays, we are dealing with Mandukya Bhashyam. So, to continue the study on Upanishads, you can join our sessions on Saturdays and Sundays. Om Purnamada Purnamidam पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Okay. A few questions on the chat box, which I will go through first, and then we will open up for discussions. Manikandan says these topics have been very useful. Uh, Nandu says the same. Jagannath also same. Okay, Jagannath has a question. Why so many shakhas? How it is different from each other? Okay. See, in the olden days, there shakha means school. So in the olden days, you see, it was a Vedic period where Veda was prominent. The whole culture of a society was predominantly based on Veda. Now, if you are talking about thousands of years ago, maybe different yuga itself. Now, during that period, they say that they were small. You see, when you have such a big uh, country with so many people and with the same culture, now how is this whole society brought together? By small schools of knowledge. So Shakha means schools. Now, during that period, there were, see, Veda Vyasa, thousands of years ago, he only collated. He didn't. He only tried to compile the Vedas into four parts. What they say is all the see basically each Veda is supposed to be each Veda is supposed to be propagated by one group of people, like Rig Veda, uh, like Sama Veda. So even today, people are chanting Samaveda. They know there are certain people. There are certain people in South India or in North India. You will find Samavedis. Now, your question is how is it different from each other? The differences are very minimal. Now, for example, the Samaveda they always have the Veda in singing. Atharvana Veda is basically deals with medicine, with rituals and so on. How to do the rituals. Now, each Veda, each school is different, slightly different. What they say, I mean, I don't have full uh, details on this, but what they say is that different schools existed and in which the Veda was propagated. The Veda school, Atharvana Veda school, Sama Veda school, and Yajurveda schools. How they are different? One simple example I will tell you, which is prominent even today. Since the uh, the ritual called as the thread ceremony, the Rig Veda people and Yajur Veda people, they put the threads on two different days according to their own scriptures, according to their own Veda. The mantras which are chanted while performing the Yajurveda thread ceremony is different than the mantras which are chanted while doing the Rig Veda ceremony. This is, and the two schools have got their own mantras. Mantras are different, chantings are different, and so on. So this is just a small example. But during the olden days, there were so many different schools. But from the chart I showed you, a lot of things are lost. We don't even know what they had before. Okay. Then, okay. Anybody else has? Thank you, Jagannath. Anybody else has any other question today? Is going to unmute everybody so that you can ask your questions. Yeah, Nandu, you want to ask something? Go ahead.
Not a question, but just to add on our discussions on today's topic and like overall summary of Upanishad, we are very fortunate that with your help we are on the right path. Especially the last slide, and this is like a vast scripture, and maybe like it is said, like maybe in lifetime also may not be possible to go through
That's correct. You see,
all the
the last
Vedas and
slide
everything.
was just to tickle your
Yeah.
intellect and say that, oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And what is being said, like I mean, the final part of like Vedas, which is like Vedanta, and out of that Vedanta also like Upanishad, and out of the Upanishad also like we are like human beings, we have like thing to take like shortcuts and all. So maybe like Mandukya is the only one, and we are, I believe, it's like on right path. When I have listened the first time, like Mandukyam Kevalam, and okay, it's like 12 Upanishad, yes, let's go, 12 mantras only, go ahead. But when we come to like Karikas and going deep and deep, then only we are realizing how much depth, and with the help of Shankaracharya, we are able to learn that thing. I think that the gist of all the Upanishads and everything, and just to focus on that part. And but just one part, I maybe I'm correct, not right or something. Doing all these things like in Gita also it is mentioned like there are like only two ways, like a karma and jnana. Even upasana we consider as like from the part of like a karma yoga. And doing all these things again from jnana go back to like bhakti, which is like called as jnanottar bhakti. Even Acharya wrote like all the commentaries on all the Upanishads and everything. And there is like a stotras mentioned by Adi Shankaracharya, and especially on the each god. Even like Vyasa Maharshi, he wrote all the scriptures and everything. He was not satisfied. Then he go for the Bhagavatam. So I think this is like a lifetime journey, just doing all these things, repeat all the Vedas, Upanishads, go back to be in front of like a God, and do that in that way. This is just like my overall conclusion, I believe.
Good. Thank you, Nandu. What you're saying is the ocean of Veda is so huge, it's impossible for a person to cover in one lifetime. But I'll tell you one small thing. You don't need to go through that mountain of literature. What you need to understand is just one Upanishad, if possible. And see, sometimes even a small portion of one bhashyam of Shankaracharya is enough. Suddenly, you will find that you have understood the entire gist of Upanishads. It happens. It really happens. And you will know it. You see, when it happens to you, you will know it. I'll just give you a small tip of, uh, I'll just give you an example. In Aitreya Upanishad, Shankaracharya writes a bhashya. And he says in the very first mantra of Aitreya Upanishad, in this commentary of the first mantra, what he says is that this Atma existed before the world. Before the world was created, Atma was existing. And Atma continues to exist even today because it is eternal. What is the difference between Atma without the creation and Atma with creation. Shankaracharya writes a beautiful commentary on this one question. It's a mind-boggling answer of Shankaracharya. What he says is, if you understand this, you will understand, I think, the whole Vedanta, in my opinion. What he says is, this Atma before creation was with potential world in unmanifest condition. That is Atma before creation. Atma va idam agre asit. That is the first verse of the first chapter of Aitareya Upanishad. Upanishad starts with this verse. This Atma alone was there before. This Atma alone is there now with creation. So what is the difference between the two Atmas? Atma was there with unmanifest potential universe in unmanifest condition. Atma is there today with manifest condition of the universe. So what has changed? Unmanifest universe has become manifest universe. What has not changed? Atma is the same. Pure consciousness. Pure consciousness can exist with a universe in potential condition. Can I have an experience of this? This is what happens to us in the sleep state. The universe is in potential condition. I, the Atma, am there. Atma is there. Always there. Eternally there. So, but when I'm in sleep, what is the condition of the whole universe? It is unmanifest form. What happens in the waking state? When the world is manifest, my experience is what? What is my anubhava? I am there as Atma. Same Atma, when the same Atma which was there in the sleep state, the same Atma is there in the waking state. But what is the difference? That unmanifest world has become manifest world. That means what? All the sharirams are experiencing manifestation and manifestation. Along with the shariram comes the universe, Jagat. Same thing happens in the dream world also. Atma is there. Another type of universe comes, which is projected universe of the mind. So Atma remains the same. Atma va idam agre asit. Atma was there before creation. Atma is there during creation. Atma is there at the end of creation. During life. With this explanation of Shankaracharya, we understand manifestation and unmanifestation of the whole universe and how I should look at myself as Atma. Go through this, what I have said. It's a very, very deep understanding of the whole Vedanta. Aham Satyam Jagan Mithya. Who is Aham? Jivo Brahmaivana. I, the consciousness, am one with the pure consciousness, which is called as Brahman. Okay, this is just a small example, but I just wanted to explain this to you how beautiful. You don't have to pay. The Veda is very big. Of course, it is huge and humongous, but we don't. If we can get to know a little bit of one Upanishad in detail, that is more than enough for us. It is as good as you have got the knowledge of all the scriptures. That's what the Acharyas they tell us. And that's what Shankaracharya says in the Aitareya Bhashya, first chapter, first section, first one. Is this similar to the essence of Purnamada and Purnamidam? Yes, it is. Manikandan, you're right. It is similar to Purnamada, Purnamidam. But this explanation of Aitareya Upanishad is very, very simple and very direct. Okay, any other questions?
Sakshi, as we say, the Vedas was given by Lord Krishna, right, to us.
Yes, you can say Lord Krishna revealed the Veda to us. That is as far as the Gita is concerned.
So if we have given only one Veda, how come we came into thousands of Vedas?
Oh, this is here we are talking about one portion of, see, Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata. So we are talking about one portion of the Veda. It is in the Puranas, in the Bhagavad Purana, and you see that Bhagavad Gita is a small portion. What I explained to you is there are so many different Vedas, but then in one portion we have got the Gita. That's all.
That's why when it comes.
Gita is only a small part of the entire literature of Veda.
That's when it is been multiplied. That's a part where some of the Vedas were lost, isn't it?
Correct. That's correct. Yes.
So we should have stick to one rather than so many Vedas.
That's correct. Yeah. Okay, Baba. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll close today's session. Next week we are going to start Prashna Upanishad. If you're interested, you can start there. You can come and join us. We'll be doing with Shankara Bhashyam. So with commentary of Shankaracharya. Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Samana. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.